All right. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening kung anumang oras kayo nanonood. Our lesson for this quarter, actually the first lesson for this quarter in oral communication is all about communicative strategies. Now, ang learning competency or ang goal ng lesson na to is for you to be able to learn or to use actually various communicative strategies in different situations. Actually, the beauty about this lesson is marirealize mo na lahat ng ginagawa natin or lahat ng parang mga concepts na matututunan natin for this lesson, ginagawa nyo na talaga siya. Lelabelan lang talaga natin. Okay? So, mauunawaan natin na we have different communicative strategies na innate siya sa tao, normal siya sa atin. We will just have to put a name on these strategies that we employ on a daily basis. Okay? Now, for week 6, ito yung mga activities natin nung Saturday. Hopefully, natapos niyo na yung summatives 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, kasi 4 yung summatives, hindi ko lang nailagay dito. And then, on Wednesday, hopefully, um, you will be able to read the dialogue on Brain Starter, which can be found on a separate sheet, and answer the questions that follow. Yung mga answers na dito, kindly write them on a sheet of yellow pad paper kung saan yung normally nilalagay yung sagot ninyo. And then read the discussion on types of communicative strategy on pages 51 to 52, which can be found on the blue module in the blue module, and then answer the types of communicative strategies drill on the separate sheet. Yung drill na to, yung types of communicative strategies drill, it can be found kung saan nakalagay yung brain starter. Nasa likod lang siya. And then, answers to this drill will be given to you by me, of course. Now, make sure na you have this work checked before you proceed to the next activity. Okay? Kasi gusto ko na sa drill na to, since parang practice lang siya, ma-make sure na natin na naintindihan nyo talaga yung lesson bago kayo pumunta sa post-test. Kasi sayang naman kung mali rin yung magiging sagot ninyo just because hindi pa natin na-check. So again, make sure to get the answers to this drill first before you proceed to the next activity. By the way, yung drill, isusulat din po dun sa yellow sheet. Okay? And then after this, pag na-checkan nyo na po yung drill ninyo, na ipaliwanag ko na bakit ito ang sagot sa number na ganito, bakit mali yung sagot mo, or bakit tama yung sagot mo. Once we are able to rationalize this part, you may now move on to exercise 1 on page 53, which again can be found in the module that I distributed. So again, make sure that to be sure na matatapos itong mga activities ito, make sure that you have the following materials. This one is the brain starter, and then this one is the new module, okay, the textbook. Okay, again, let me just remind you, I mentioned this already in the group chat, but let me say this again. Please take very good care of this module kasi this one is a permanent material in DepEd. Okay, this is actually more permanent than the Pivot 4A modules that you received last quarter. Okay, so mas mahalaga na maingatan nyo itong blue na module kasi although mahalaga din naman na iningatan nyo yung dating module, mas mahalaga lang na ingatan nyo itong blue module kasi mga ilang generations pa po ang gagamit niyan. Yung green module na natanggap nyo last quarter, we don't know until when we will use that module kasi that is actually designed for the distance learning, which is yung nangyayari ngayon. Na pag nag-resume yung class, to forever, we will be using this blue module until maging obsolete yung content niya. So, okay, so please take very good care of the materials that you receive from the school. Okay? After all, these are only borrowed. You will return them once you are finished using them. Okay? So you are not allowed to write anything on the pages of the book. You're not allowed to fold. Actually, if you can put a bookmark, then that's best if you want to return to a particular page. And you are not required to cover it with plastic, but if you think it is necessary, then go ahead. Okay? Now, let's proceed to the first activity. This can be found on the Brain Starter na sheet. Okay, so let's look at the first dialogue. This is between Eva and Paula. Okay, so let's read. I will be Eva and Paula at the same time, okay? Check out the sky. What about it? Don't ask me, just look at it. I don't see anything. It is just the plain, normal sky. Of course not. The stars seem brighter and the moon looks bigger tonight. You are weird. It appears normal to me. Why can't you appreciate nature? Of course I can. It is just that I do not see anything extraordinary about it. Whatever. Why are you pissed? I'm not. Walks away. Now let's proceed to the guide questions. What is the main topic of the conversation? Ano ba yung pinag-uusapan ni na Eva and Paula in Dialogue 1? Maybe your answer is all about looking at the moon or nature. Number 2, in what part of the dialogue did the conflict happen? What line number? So if you will go back to the dialogues 1 to 11, yung mga lines, aling part kaya dyan nagsimulang magkamali or hindi magkamali but magkaroon ng conflict or misunderstanding? I think nag-start yung conflict doon sa number 7. Kasi doon na nagsabi na why can't you appreciate nature? Okay? Kasi hindi maintindihan ni Paula yung gustong ipakita ni Eva. Okay? Now, let's go to number 3. Before Eva walked out, do you think she was really pissed? Kung kayo, yung nasa kondisyon ni Eva, and looking at the lines, the exchange of lines between Eva and Paula, do you think nagkaroon talaga, na ines si Eva kay Paula? I think the answer is yes. Nainis siya. But we go now to the question number 4. If yes, do you think she has the right to be pissed? If yes, why? And if no, why not? So let's have two areas of answer. Okay, let's have a diversion. Kung yes ang sagot, I think, in my personal perspective, I think that Eva has the right to be pissed because she cannot, Paula could not understand or could not see things or did not try at least to see or to look at the moon the way Eva looks at the moon, diba? With a certain kind of love and appreciation for nature. However, at the same time, I don't think na she is already entitled. Kumbaga, kung may karapatan na ba talaga agad si Eva na mabwisit kay Paula just because hindi niya ma-appreciate yung nature in the same level that Eva is appreciating it. Again, we have different levels of appreciation. We have different, di ba? We have different backgrounds. Ito yung mga sinasabi natin na barriers eh. May pagkakaiba-iba tayo. Yung mga cultural perspectives natin, yung mga background. These are certain differences that we have which, makes each one of us really unique. And so we cannot expect everyone to understand us in a way that we want to be understood. We cannot expect everyone to understand, to have the same amount of appreciation. Same with Paula and Eva. Si Eva, hindi siya pwedeng mabwisit basta-basta kay Paula just because hindi sila pareho ng appreciation. Baka naman hindi sa nature ang inclination or mga appreciation ni Paula. Baka naman nature lover din siya pero more on animals, wildlife. Whereas si Eva baka naman sa mga natural stuff or mga natural but mga non-animal if that's the way we call it. Yung mga hindi naman animals like yung moon, the trees, the leaves, mga ganon. Baka sa ganon. Okay, so again, so much about it. You may now go to dialogues 2 and 3, which can also be found on the Brain Starter worksheet, and then answer the remaining questions. You may skip this um, dialogue and discussion questions. You may proceed answering dialogue 2 and 3. Okay. Now, let's go to the discussion of the lesson, communicative strategies. Now, you can read about this on pages 51 to 53, but allow me to discuss all of the strategies in this video. Now, the first strategy that we will be talking about is nomination. So, this is probably something that you often do with your friends, with your cliques. Okay, so let's try to discuss. Nomination is where a speaker carries out um, to collaboratively, and productively establish a topic. So in other words, ito yung nag-open ka ng topic with your with the person you are talking to or with the group you are conversing with. Now, basically, when you employ this strategy, you try to open the topic with the people you are talking to. When beginning a topic in a conversation, especially if it does not arise from a previous topic, you may start off with news inquiries and news announcements as they promise to extend talk. Okay, so let's just read on different examples before we proceed to the actual discussion. Examples of nomination, yung mga lines or mga statements na example ng nomination is, have you heard about the rising number of fundraising drives for the victims of Typhoon Rolly and Typhoon Ulysses? Okay, so in this example, nag-open up ng conversation yung taong to, yung nagsalita nito, if yung mga kausap niya is meron na silang nadinig na or nabalitaan ng mga fundraising activities na ginagawa ng mga tao para sa mga biktima ng Typhoon Rolly at Typhoon Ulysses. Okay? So, normally ito yung mga lines na para nagbubukas ng topic o kaya naman yung line na, hello, how are you? So, kinakamusta ka niya. Ibig sabihin, nagtatry siyang mag-open ng conversation. Diba? Kaya nga kapag ang reply niya sa, hello, how are you? Okay lang. Kailangan meron kang parang follow-up question para lalong magtagal yung discussion. And the last example is, what do you think about the President's dismissal of the violation of the IATF health protocols of the Manyanita? Okay, so in this particular example, the person who is speaking this line is actually asking you, the receiver, kung ano sa tingin mo, ano yung opinion mo sa ginawa ng President Duterte sa kanyang pag-dismiss sa kaso ng mga pulis at iba pang nag-violate nung IATF health protocols during the height of COVID para sa Manyanita. Okay? So, hinihingi ko yung opinion mo. So, parang nagbubukas again ng topic. Okay, maybe you have your own examples or maybe in your groups, ginagawa mo to, ikaw yung nagbumabang ka sa conversation, no? So, ito yung madalas mong ginagawa, yung nag-nominate ka ng topic. Okay, so let's now move to restriction. So, restriction in communication refers to any limitation you may have as a speaker. When communicating in the classroom, in a meeting, or while hanging out with friends, you are typically given specific instructions you must follow. So whether kahit pa nasaan ka, kahit pa mula sa formal contexts to informal contexts, still, merong rules na fina-follow sa mga yan. Okay, so for example, in your class, you might be asked by your teacher to brainstorm on peer pressure or deliver a speech on digital natives. With this, you cannot talk about something else. Kapag sinabi ng teacher mo na, okay, let's just talk about digital natives, hindi ka pwedeng magsalita tungkol sa mga baby boomers, you cannot talk about politics, you cannot talk about outer space kasi basically what you are discussing or supposed to be discussing is all about digital natives. Okay, so examples of this are, for example, sinabihan ka ng teacher mo, please speak in English only. Okay, so restriction yon kasi you're not allowed to speak in other languages. You're only allowed to speak in English. Another example is, limit your presentation to 5 minutes. You might bore the audience. Ano yung limitation kaya dito? Correct. 5 minutes lang. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-exceed. Kapag nag-exceed ka, let's say 5 minutes and 1 millisecond ka, 5 minutes and 1 second, sorry, you are already, yung di ba parang minsan may mga timer yung teacher, so yun na yun, nag-exceed ka na sa time. And in other contexts, baka mabore nga naman yung audience. In our Q&A portion, make sure to avoid fillers or using fillers. So, ano ba example ng fillers? Yung mga, actually, probably, yung mga ganon. Yun yung mga examples ng fillers. So, di ba, halimbawa kapag tinanong ka ng teacher mo, yung pag on the spot yung question, what are your opinions? Or what are your opinions? Mali. Walang opinions. Halimbawa, ang line is, or question is, what do you think, or who will be your next president? Okay? So, pag sinabing avoid failures, you cannot say, hindi pwedeng mong sagutin yung question ng, for me, I think, my next president is, yung ganon, bawal yon. Okay? It's a no-no. Bawal daw yun. Okay? So, nare-restrict agad ni teacher or nung question, yung nag-raise ng question na bawal kang and others. Okay? So, let's proceed to the next communicative strategy, which is turn-taking. Now, sometimes, people are given unequal opportunities to talk because others take much time during conversation. Yung super dami yan ang sinabi. Wala nang karapatan magsalita yung iba. Okay, so meron sigurong ganit nangyayari to sa barkada ninyo. Yung kapag ang daming chika nung isa, hindi na pwedeng umentra yung iba. Okay? Now, in turn-taking, it refers to the process by which people decide who takes the conversation floor. This is actually a code of behavior. You cannot keep on talking and talking. You have to wait for you have to give the floor to others. Bigyan mo naman sila ng opportunity na mag-share ng insights nila and ideas nila kasi kawawa naman, baka may mga magaganda rin silang sasabihin. Okay? Sorry. So there is a code of behavior behind establishing and sustaining a productive conversation, but the primary idea is to give all communicators a chance to speak. Okay? So examples of this, yung mga pwede mong sabihin kapag magbibigay ka na ng chance for others to speak are, is there something you wish to say? Or, go on, I've already said my piece. I want to hear yours. Or naman, di ba kapag tanong ka, well, this is what happened to me today. Kwento-kwento ka, chika-chika. And then, at the end of your story, you must ask the person who is listening to you na, okay, so that's my story. Your turn. Tell me about your day. So, ayun na. It's now your turn to shine. It's it's now the person's or your friend's turn to shine. Pakinggan mo naman siya this time. Okay? So let's move on. Okay. The next strategy is topic control. It covers how procedural formality and informality affects the development of topic and conversations. Now, probably in your case, pag nag-uusap-usap kayo ng mga friends mo or kaya sa bahay or baka naman na-encounter mo to sa classroom na may nagsasalita tapos walang nakikinig kasi lahat kayo may mga kanya-kanya yung pinag-uusapan o kaya naman um paano ba, halimbawa sabay-sabay na nagsasalita yung mga tao kapag nagtanong ka, hindi mo tuloy makuha yung totoong sagot. Di ba? Yung mga ganong sitwasyon. Di ba? That is a poor example of topic control kasi wala kang control dun sa conversation. Di ba? Kaya minsan may mga sinasabi yung teacher, can we have one conversation only? Please? Kasi ang gusto niya, isa lang ang nagsasalita at nakikinig ang lahat. Okay? Now remember that regardless of the formality of the context, whether it's formal or formal, nasa classroom, nasa meeting, o kaya naman nasa, sa circle ng friends mo, topic control is achieved cooperatively. Siyempre kasi it's kind of a sign of respect, actually. And that means that when a topic is initiated, it should be collectively developed by avoiding unnecessary interruptions and topic shifts. 'Di ba? May mga moment na parang bigla na lang may sumusulpot sa isip mo habang nagkukwento yung isa. Tapos bigla mo na lang guguluhin yung usapan. You cannot keep on dominating topics while something is ongoing, 'di ba? Medyo wala namang paggalang 'yun. Now, halimbawa, nagkukwento yung friend mo sa'yo, medyo mahaba yung kwento niya, para hindi ka maka-interrupt dun sa sinasabi niya. Di ba may mga sinasabi ka, okay, also, ano pa? Di ba may mga ganun tayong mga lines kapag nagkukwento ng dire-diretso yung friend natin. In order for that person not to be interrupted, but to make that friend understand that we are still engaged, we are still listening sa kanyang sinasabi. Now, examples of this ng topic control is, excuse me, I cannot hear your classmate well, sabi ni teacher. Can we all listen to him first before having our personal conversations with our seatmates? Diba? Another is, raise your hand if you want to answer. Please do not answer me in chorus. Yan yung mga madalas na lines sa teacher. Now, I'm not saying that topic control is restricted lamang sa teacher, ha. Yung normally lang kasi, yung kung sino yung nagsasalita, sila yung nag-lead ng discussion, siya lang yung may right na mag-control ng conversation. O kaya naman someone in the group na gustong maintindihan yung sinasabi niya nagsasalita, let's say classmate, na classmate, pakinig naman tayo. Di ba yung mga ganun tayong moment? Respeto naman. Ayan. So those are examples of topic control. Okay. Next is topic shifting. So ito pa iba-iba na tayo. Change topic na. As the name suggests, topic shifting involves moving from one topic to another. In other words, it is where one part of the conversation ends and another one begins. So let's say ayaw mo pag-usapan yung ex mo. Okay, change topic tayo, sis. So ganun lang naman ang topic shifting. Ito medyo madali tong ma-distinguish, no? Kasi meron siya mga parang mararamdaman mo to in conversations kapag ayaw na nung kausap mo yung pinag-uusapan ninyo or kasi na mag-usap tungkol sa ibang bagay naman. Now, when shifting, you have to be very intuitive. Make sure that the previous topic was nurtured enough to generate adequate ones. So, kagaya nung sa topic control, pagyamanin mo muna yung conversation. Baka naman, kakabukas pa lang, kaka-nominate pa lang ng topic, shift mo na agad. Okay, so you may use effective conversational transitions to indicate a shift like, by the way, or which reminds me of, and the like. Okay, so examples. Since you mentioned Christmas season, are you aware of various fundraising efforts to help typhoon victims at least experience a comfortable Christmas Eve dinner this year? So, in this conversation, sinasabi nung speaker na, since nabanggit mo yung Christmas season, alam mo ba na merong mga nangyayari ngayon na parang donation drive para naman makaranas ng Noche Buena, yung mga nasalanta ng bagyo? Okay. So, yun yung inaano niya. Nabanggit mo, by the way, speaking of the, gano'n, di ba mga gano'n? Diba, may pinag-uusapan kayo ng friend mo, let's say, umaway sa kaibigan mo na isa. Tapos bigla siyang dumaan doon sa harapan mo. Sabihin mo, speaking of the devil, yan na naman siya. Ganun. Di ba naman ganun tayong moment? So, yun yung example ng topic shifting. O kaya naman, by the way, I saw your mother in the market yesterday buying ingredients for spaghetti. Anyone at home celebrating? Limbawa, pinag-uusapan niyo yung mga nanay. Ay, naku sis, si nanay, ganyan, utos ng utos sa akin sa bahay. Hugas ng pinggan, paligo ng mga dogs, magbantay sa tindahan. Ay, naku girl, totoo yan. Yung nanay ko, nalabawa, yung isa naman niyang kausap. Tatlo silang friends. Oo nga, te, yung nanay ko rin, puro ganyan, puro chika. Tapos, lagi ako pinagwawalis, nakakapagod nga eh. Tapos yung isa naman, ay naku yung nanay ko nga, pinahanap sa akin yung sandok. Hindi ko alam kung sino nang hiram sa kapitbahay, ganyan-ganyan. Nagbibintangan pa ako, tinangay ko daw, anong gagawin ko doon. Eh, yung isang friend mo ngayon, wait, by the way, girl, nakita ko yung nanay mo kahapon sa supermarket. Bumibili ng ingredients for spaghetti. Meron ba magpa-birthday? O, diba? So, kumbaga parang na-shift yung topic. It's all about mothers muna. Nagrereklamo kayo tungkol sa mga nanay. Tapos biglang, napakaswabe. Napakaswabe ng shift. Biglang nagbago yung topic. Meron magpa-party? Kasi may spaghetti. Di ba mga ganon? So, from there, di ba, may mga ganon tayong moment yung parang alay na narating nung pinag-uusapan. Kasi, merong isang word na magbabago. Palaging ganon. Yung nangdalay ng conversation. Okay, we're down to the second to the last communicative strategy. Now, repair refers to how speakers address the problems in speaking, listening, and comprehending that they may encounter in a conversation. So, for example, everybody in the conversation seems to be talking at the same time. Give way and appreciate others' initiative to set the conversation back to its topic. Repair, again from the word itself, inaayos. It is a self-writing mechanism in any social interaction. Halimbawa, may nagsasalita, tapos hindi mo naintindihan yung inutos niya sa'yo or sinabi niya sa'yo. You may respond, I beg your pardon. Diba? Ang ibig sabihin na ano nga ulit? Diba? Pakiulit po please. Hindi ko po naintindihan. So that's an example of repair because you want something to be understood or to be more clear for you. Or the line, sorry, I did not get the last thing you said. Can you please repeat it? O kaya naman, tinatama mo yung sinabi mo. Kasi baka na-offend siya kasi sinabi mo sa kanya, Oy, ang ganda mo pag maitim. Diba? Or ang ganda mo kapag nakaitim. Or maganda ka lang pag nakaitim. Baka yun yung sinabi mo, baka ma-offend siya. You may say, para maayos to, baka bago ka pa yung sabunutan, you may say, what I mean with what I said is black looks good on you. Okay? O kaya naman, na-offend siya dun sa sinabi mo, sorry if I offended you with what I said. I'm sorry. The simple act of saying sorry repairs the conversation because, sometimes yung mga conversation natin, it's spreading like wildfire. Diba yung mga apoy, yung mga fire, yung mga, di ba, wildfire, for example, yung sa mga kaingin, pwedeng tumatumpok yung bahay ninyo kapag hindi yan agad napatay, kapag lumalaki na yung apoy. And that's what I mean with this. You have to repair something that you might be misunderstood for agad-agad before it gets worse. Okay? Now, the last communicative strategy is termination. So, pag terminate ka or may terminate ka, ibig sabihin, you ended something. May tinapos ka. Okay? Wow, may tinapos. So, hindi na ako hugot. Okay? But in this, let's define termination. It refers to the conversation participants close initiating expressions at the end in a topic or that end the topic in a conversation, sorry. Most of the time, the topic initiator takes responsibility to signal the end of the discussion as well. So, although not all topics may have clear ends, so bigla ka na lang naputol kasi bigla na lang dumating yung teacher, o kaya naman biglang dumating yung nanay mo, may sasabihin ka pa lang, ganyan. So, you may try to signal the end of the conversation through concluding cues. Halimbawa, sige, mamaya na lang. Mamaya na lang ulit dyan na si ma'am. O kaya naman, um, ano na yung nanay mo. And syempre, kailangan English kasi oral com to. You may say, I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you soon. My mom is back. Diba? So, yun. So, you may do this by sharing what you have learned from the conversation. For example, you are trying to tell a story about a very embarrassing experience. Nadulas ka sa canteen. And everybody was there. Okay? So, pag tapos na yung kwento mo, gusto mo nang tapusin, you may say that, okay, so what I learned from this sad experience is that um, next time I will not run inside the canteen. Mga ganon. So, that's an example of termination kasi ini-end mo na yung topic. Okay, so examples are of this whole nightmare of an experience, all I can say is not to trust other people so easily. Let's see, baka naloko kayo yung kwento mo. Or another example is, thank you for your time. We will see you again next week. Goodbye. Okay? So, terminate mo yung conversation. Now, let's practice. On the brain starter worksheet, sa likod doon, on the bottom part, you will see this activity drills on communicative strategies. Identify the communicative strategy used in each statement. Write only the letter of your answer on the sheet of yellow pad paper that you are already using. Okay, so let's try to answer number 1. Incidentally, I just passed by that street you were talking about just now. Okay, so imagine natin, itong nagsasalita na to nasa cellphone siya, may kausap siya na tao na nagkukwento tungkol sa street na yon. Okay, so sabi niya, actually, I just passed by the street you were talking about just now. Ano kayang sagot dito? Is it nomination, restriction, turn taking, topic control, topic shifting, repair, or termination? The answer is topic shifting. Okay? Bakit siya topic shifting? Kasi yung kausap niya sa phone, nagdadaldal tungkol sa street na yon or sa mga street halimbawa. Tapos bigla niyang nabanggit yung street na yon. Actually, alam mo, nandito ako. Diba? Parang ganun yung sagot niya eh. So that's topic shifting. Okay? Now, please answer the remainder of the activity. That's you have items 2 to 15. Please, again, do not forget to get the answer key from me first before you answer the next activity on page 53. Okay? So please do this on your yellow pad and then again wait for my key to correction. So that's all for this online session. I will see you again next meeting, or I hope to see you in flesh very soon. Okay, so goodbye and thank you.